All right, guys, how's it going? So I saw this tweet come up, or post, whatever you want to call it now. Paul Gorst of the Liverpool Echo, an article about the old new hunt for a new manager and all that. Liverpool brain is set to become the kingmaker who can set club's path. We're going to take a look at this article. The points, FSG to defer to Gordon's knowledge. Data-led search eliminates emotion. Alonso, isn't it? Discretion and secrecy key. A piece on Mike Gordon and how the most hands-on of LFC's owners will make the biggest decision of a generation in appointing Jurgen Klopp's successor. Haven't read it. Thought me and you might have a look at it. Can't read it word for word. So we're looking at just that bit because I really want to be chilled. Let's have a look. Watch it go flying. I don't know. Right. Let's see what he's saying. So he was the man that was first told of Jurgen Klopp's decision to step down. Mike Gordon has had more time than anyone to process the shock news. But the majority of those impacted by it or merely have to absorb it and come to terms with it. It's Gordon whose task is to plan for life at Liverpool beyond it. Making him sound very important. But he's very important, isn't he, if he's making that fucking decision. As the most hands-on of the Boston-based owners, the only one, the Fenway Sports Group president will have the biggest say in what will be a seismic decision that will have ramification for years to come at Anfield. Right, so he's the one we hang if it all goes wrong. Well, I can have a laugh. I would read the article, a lot more to you from the article if there wasn't so many fucking adverts around it. Right, hang on a minute. Gordon described the meeting with Klopp when he informed him that he was leaving as respectful. It says here, it was also no real shock that the news was able to be kept under wraps for 2 months. Discretion has become key to the operation in recent years, certainly at executive level. I'm still not buying into it, mate. Oh shit! To be honest with you, I agree with Graham Souness and the old boys, Tom and all that. I mean, fuck off! Like like that didn't get out. Yeah. All right, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Doesn't really matter, does it? But I don't know. Gordon's track record is at least hugely impressive. These are things, he's making him sound like really big cheese, all right? So some of you might not know much about him, so let's see, what they think of him. Don't want the quotes. So, his knowledge of the European game outstrips others within the Fenway circle. And it was he who alerted the other members to Klopp, who was a free agent back in the autumn of 2015. I remembered it well, all that back then. I remember when the first time we wanted Jurgen Klopp and they went for Brendan Rodgers instead. I remember writing Jurgen Klopp on a piece of paper and putting it on the wall behind me for some reason. Can't remember what that was. But, do you remember I used to do the videos? I had the rectangular picture of Anfield. It was that room. It's going back some years, but it'll be on here. So John Henry previously commented, this is a comment about Gordon, Mike is by far FSG America's most knowledgeable person with regard to soccer and is involved on the football side daily in constant communication with the members of our football committee and our manager. Tom Werner once said, whenever I speak to him, whether it is 3 a.m. or 10 p.m. or whatever, Mike is on the phone and communicating with Julian Ward and Jurgen or whoever, so he has also been critical to what we have achieved and what we hope to achieve going forward. Mike has been quarterbacking this progress from the start. talking about when they went for Jurgen, Gordon said, analytically, Dortmund stacked up very well relative to expected performance. I called Jurgen, we had an extraordinary conversation, and it was pretty clear to me by the time I hung up that he was the right person for the job. So this is when Gordon was last involved in the recruitment process for a new manager. And I think it's key that we look at what he says here analytically, because they like their stats and all and data and all that, don't they? Analytically, Dortmund stacked up very well relative to expected performance. Expected, you know they like that word, expectations. Liverpool's reliance on the exhaustive analysis of data is an open secret these days. We were one of the pioneers of the rise of data in football, with Director of Research Ian Graham becoming something of a secret weapon at Anfield. And then, you know, it also mentions the other people in that team: Tim Waskett, David Steele, Mark Stevenson, Mark Howlett, Will Spearman, who has since taken over as head of the department. It is this way of operating that will inform Liverpool of their next decision. Therefore, a lot to do with data. Like data analytics and all that. Just bear with me here a little bit. Like, the data that a manager's achieving in Germany, like results, percentage of wins, things like that. Am I looking at it too simple? Can you compare that data to like the Premier League data? Do you know what I mean? I mean, I've done it once before with Klopp, we got that right. But in all honesty, not one of us knew anything about fucking data back then, and we were screaming out for Jurgen Klopp. So that's the other side of it, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like data or football knowledge. We think we're knowledgeable as fans. We're not all thick as fuck, you know. We're not saying we're as bright and as intelligent and football, got the football nous of the managers and that and whatnot. But as football supporters, it varies as to how much you're into the game. But at the time, we weren't looking at spreadsheets, were we, guys? We were saying Jurgen Klopp, Jurgen Klopp, Jurgen Klopp. We didn't need to look at a fucking spreadsheet or a pie chart, you know what I mean? Bye. But I would imagine when they talk about data and stuff like that, that they're looking at how much that manager spent for that team in that division that's relative to that particular league. Do you understand what I mean? Yeah. That'll be the percentages they're looking at, won't it, guys? While the clamour for Xabi Alonso will grow within a Liverpool fan base who still revere their former midfielder, every time Bayer Leverkusen edge nearer towards usurping Bayern Munich as Bundesliga champions, the overall call will be made beyond recent form and fan-held biases. As a result of that, Sporting's Ruben Amorim, who is who I had a bet on, remember, for fun, not because of any other reason. He was an outsider at the time. And Brighton boss Roberto De Zerbi, second favourite, with Bet365, are two others said to be under early consideration. Gordon operates behind the scenes in secret. No, he doesn't. What that means is he just don't fucking blab what he's doing all this. He's in secret. Where is he? Can't tell you. What's he doing? Can't tell you. There's a phone call for Gordon. Is he there? Can't tell you. It's a secret. Fuck off. Oh, I know. I'm trying to be serious, but just some of it makes me fucking laugh. It just feels a bit gushy, that's all. The FSG president, who's only heard from on official channels when he needs to give a quote to accompany some major news. Gordon's close bond with Klopp also extends to the rest of the departing coaching staff. Back in 2005, when Pep Lijnders' father was diagnosed with cancer, the American offered to send him to a Boston-based hospital for treatment from a world-leading specialist. In true Gordon style, it was an offer that was kept away from the public domain for a number of years. Well, that's nice. I like that. If Henry, the principal owner of the club, is viewed as the FSG patriarch, presiding over wider, more long-term strategies, then club chairman Tom Werner is the public face of the ownership. You're having a fucking laugh. Neither of them have said anything since Jurgen announced his decision. And if Tom Werner is the public face of the ownership, there is no face of the ownership. His background in television over a number of decades makes him a personable character. This is all just gush. This is just like, oh, I'm not having this shit. Makes him a personable character to sit as Liverpool's representative for Premier League meetings. Those who have dealt with Gordon say he's open and frank about the financial obstacles in Liverpool's way at the top of the English game. We ain't got no money, mate. It's because of the pandemic. Particularly since Newcastle and Chelsea have been bought out by public investment funds of Saudi Arabia and the Todd Boehly-fronted Clear Lake Capital, respectively. It might induce a scoff from supporters given the struggles of the latter, particularly, but both clubs alongside established giants like United, City and Arsenal make it even more competitive for a team like Liverpool, who never veer from their self-sustainable business model imposed by the ownership. He stepped away from his more typical duties for a number of months in 2022 to focus on what might have been on the table as the owners stepped up their efforts to bring in external partners and additional revenue while also gently kicking the tyres on an outright sale of the club. But he's firmly back in the saddle, overseeing the replacement of Liverpool's greatest manager in a generation. It's unclear how much, say, a new sporting director would have on the appointment of a manager later in the year, but the call to Edwards, which was widely reported last week, does at least suggest it is that job Liverpool are looking to recruit for first before serious overtures are made towards the eventual successor in the dugout. And that's what I've been saying. I think we need to get the sporting director situation sorted fucking first and foremost. It is difficult to remember a time when Liverpool had so many major off-the-field decisions to get right at one particular time, certainly in their recent history. But as the search goes on for both a manager and a sporting director to lead the club into a bold, exciting and somewhat scary new era, the man making the decisions at the top, the Anfield Kingmaker, who was once described by Klopp as the brain behind all the things that Liverpool should at least inspire confidence. The Anfield Kingmaker. Listen, I'm not digging at Gordon here. I aren't, guys. I'm digging at the journalist here, really. Do you know what I mean? Like, you couldn't get the Anfield Kingmaker. Most people don't even know what he looked like. But it's because he's in secret. I could tell you, I could put a picture on here now and show you what he looks like, but I'd have to kill you. That's it. Someone in the comments, this is a good shout. Klopp didn't do too badly after Buvac, the brain, in his coaching team left. Gordon, the brain too, was away for almost a year. Klopp didn't miss him too much either. The one and only Liverpool brain is going to leave soon. A lot of people are going to miss him. I'm just trying to load comments, but they're taking forever on this particular thing. Anyway, so I don't think we really learned much there, other than they're trying to the journalists or the Echo, whatever, is trying to, really big them up and that, tell them they're saying nice things. I mean, why not write an article saying you better not get it fucking wrong because we'll lynch you? Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't mean like to be disrespectful. The man does a job and that's it. And he's got a great job on. And the guy that was, Epstein, that was promoted within the FSG hierarchy or whatever, who was said to be overseeing that, someone commented in one of the videos, I forget your name, I'm very sorry, it's impossible. Listen, I forget my friends' names in the bar on a Saturday, so don't take offence. Excuse me. And that's before I've had a drink. Someone left a lengthy comment yesterday, but it will have been on the video, about new FSG person or whatever, saying good things about that chap that's been appointed. And also, a lady friend of mine messaged me yesterday from Chicago, and I don't know if I can find it. Before he was with the Red Sox, he was at the Cubs. But anyway, and just saying that he did all right and stuff like that. But so yeah, like in my, like me, man. Transparency. I don't like these people. I like football people. Do you know what I mean? I'm not bothered where someone comes from or anything like that. I just don't like the smarmy business side of it, all right, which I know is part of the game. But in that video, I was like, oh, this guy that is going to be responsible for be overseeing part of this, this new changing manager. And I don't know anything about him. So it was nice that someone took the time, like a friend of mine, messaged me and said, well, actually, he did all right here or whatever with that. But that's not football. And one of you guys in the video yesterday, which I can try and get it, but the video would be here forever, left some really quite a detailed thing about him, saying, actually, he probably will be a good input in that. And I wanted to mention that, you know what I mean? Because I think that's important, because I don't want to just come in here and go, oh, he'll be a fucking div. Someone did come in and that knew far more about this gentleman than I know nothing about him. So, but when a football fan reads a non-football person to do with all the other franchises is being put in a position to possibly oversee the appointment of a football manager, then it's obvious that football fans that are very paranoid and passionate are like, what the fuck, So it's nice that a football fan comments on here and goes, actually, Dunk, he's quite switched on, this fella. Do you know what I mean? So anyway, the thing what I take from that article, other than kissing Hulk Hogan's ass or whatever was it? No, Gordon, wasn't it? Flash Gordon. Other than it being very oh, he's a good guy, it's amazing and all that, was the reference in there that not just the fan desires and recent form, just because you might be doing well in Germany at the moment and you might be wanted by the fans, they're not going to let that be an emotional appointment, which is, it shouldn't be that. It shouldn't be that. So they will look at the wider picture of the data, which to me, I think the data is to do with results per fucking £1 spent. That's what I think. I don't know. I feel, has it gone? Data-led search eliminates emotion. I feel that has been said to said journalists. I think that's been planted in his mind. So when they talk about, oh, we're going to do this, do that, data-led search eliminates emotion, I think is a little warning there. We're not just going to go for Xabi Alonso because of that. And I guess that's right. That is right. I don't want Alonso to be appointed because he once played for Liverpool. And I've seen people comment on my videos saying, the obsession with former Liverpool. It's not, for me, it's not. The connection and the understanding of the club and the city and all of that, yes, absolutely. But that's not a single reason to appoint someone the manager of Liverpool Football Club. I think Alonso's doing very well in his own merit. The only thing is, he's not going to have a lot of data to go back because he's an inexperienced manager. Do you know what I mean? So I agree with it, but I also think that appointments and signings shouldn't be just about data. Do you know what I mean? It shouldn't just be about data. And again, I will make reference to what I said the other day in a video. 2 films, Moneyball. Everyone, Liverpool fans for years, with FSC, spoke about the film Moneyball. You have to watch Moneyball to get an understanding of data, and policy to do with them. But then I would say after that, you have to watch a film called Trouble with the Curve by Clint Eastwood, which is to do with scouting, but more to do with the eyes and the ears, and not just data. So yeah, we can look at as much data as you want, but in an FA Cup tie, the most powerful team doesn't always win, but the data suggests they should. Do you know what I mean? But the minnows might have something special that can pop up occasionally. You know what I mean? Which I have as well, girls. Right, I'm off. Probably not the best of videos, but the reason for the video was that specific statement, data-led search eliminates emotion. That is the bit that I'm just planting the seed of here. All the other stuff, I didn't know it was in the article. All the other stuff is just telling you how great of a man he is, all right? For whatever reasons. And maybe he is. I don't know. I've not heard anyone say a bad word about him. I'm going to be honest with you. But I've not heard anyone say a good word about him either. So, you know what I mean? So this isn't about criticising FSG individuals. They own our club. And, you know, I want these people to make the right decisions. Do you know what I mean? So, but I thought that little reference there was just a little like someone said something to that journal. Someone go, you know, at the end of the day, we're not just going to appoint Xabi Alonso. Like, you know, we're going to look at the data-driven whatever to, you know, fuck the emotions kind of thing. I know what I mean. Anyway, if you appreciate the video, please give it a thumbs up. Even if you don't agree with me, please do give it a thumbs up. Please drop me a comment. If you want to buy me a Coffee, there's a Love Art Super Thanks thing or something like that. And I've uploaded a couple of videos to my other YouTube channel. So I'd love you guys to come over and subscribe to that channel. youtube.com/Duncan Oldham. All right, guys, switching a bit.